Okay, I wanted to talk about a few of the issues I've been having going on here. This is a circuit that the objective is to pulse width modulate this light. And I'm using Arduino. This is a MOSFET here, so it turns out that it works best with a little driver here, a FET driver. But what I want is I need to pulse width modulate the signal going into it to make speed control, right? And but I only want it to be working when I have a signal through my IR. Right now I've got it running from the USB port. This is a Arduino Nano, in case you don't know. And I have 10 volts to the FET. And you see the little light there. And you can see the pulse width modulation dimming and brightening it. Okay, and the IR turning off and on when it's broken. Oops. I can turn it down dim, and you can see, and I can turn it bright, and you can see it's brighter. There's full bright. I'll turn it down some more again. Can't really, I don't know, maybe you can tell better in the okay, so it's off, and then it's on, full bright. Anyway, again, 90% of the problems I suffer are with my proto boards. I ordered a whole batch of new proto boards, but I haven't even opened them out of the box. Then the FET driver makes all the difference in the world as far as amplifying, giving me full saturation of the FET. I still lose 2 volts across it though, which is annoying. I don't know, I thought my training 100 years ago that was 0.2 volts. Maybe that's transistors at full saturation, I don't know. I couldn't find anything in the data sheet telling me what it was. So that means if I have a full H bridge, then I'm going to be losing 4 volts across there. So 10 volts, I'll only have 6 volts left. So that's kind of a interesting aspect. I don't have any amplification coming off of this IR receiver. I do have a 200 ohm resistor going to the IR transmitter, and I have blown up several transmitters by forgetting and connecting them direct across the 5 volts. Right here's my break in the board. This half is 5 volts, this half is the 10 volts. So the driver is using the 10 volts. I can't remember what its maximum rating is, 25 volts maybe. So you know, I hadn't thought about it. I need to put it over in the 5 volts and see what happens if it works as well. But it's nice. I've got, okay, so I'm trying to think of all the weird trouble. Oh, I know. I was trying to drive the FET driver directly from the IR because I was using the pulse width modulation on the infrared input using a 555 timer setup, which is pretty nice. It works really well. But this way I can isolate everything and software control it. And I don't think it's going to cause any speed concerns because these little puppies are so fast. So next I'm going to hook it up to the motor and see what smokes, because my FET was getting pretty darn hot. Anyway, everything seems to be working really well now. So that is that. Let me see, I could show you my code on the computer if it isn't too funky to look at. I know it'll be blinking there, but that's the way it works. And all I have is the input from the IR receiver on pin 4, the output from the FET on pin 10, and you can see pin 4 over here is just the input pin. Pin 10 is pulse width modulation capable. The input from the potentiometer is on A0. And then I have another variable here for the speed, because after I go through setup here and set those up, then, well, I've got a little setup here so that if the potentiometer is above 975, then it sets to max. And if it's below 100, it sets to 0. That's just kind of to stop some of the flakiness at the top and bottom end of the potentiometer. Otherwise, it reads the potentiometer and sets it. This is the actual input 0 to 1024 or 0 to 1023, and the output 0 to 255. It sets the pulse width modulation here. This is that map function that sets the potentiometer. Sets the output of the potentiometer, or the input of the potentiometer maps it from this to this. Okay, and so then I've got my mapped speed, and I send it to the output depending on if the input from the infrared is high, then I set the speed. If there's no input, if it's low, then I set it to the output to 0. So that is the whole shebang there. So we're moving on.